If you're in crypto, well, then you know the absolute pain of finding a new altcoin. I mean, how many times have you sat there late at night, scrolled through Twitter, TradingView, CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, and whatever other website that would allow you to find the next runner? It was essentially a never-ending story that I personally never want to go through again, and 9 times out of 10, it ended in complete disaster. So I realized, okay, we have a problem here, and it's a problem that I deal with myself, so I came up with a solution. I built a software that takes away all that pain and just allows me to focus on the altcoins I actually want. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what that software is, what it does, and how you can get your hands on it. But before we get into that, I want to quickly go over what a pre-buy checklist actually means, right? Because if you want any success within altcoins, well, then you need a filter. So here are my 4 filters that you have to go through before you buy an altcoin. You need to run every coin through these 4, and if you miss one, well, then you're not investing. You're essentially gambling on a story that nobody wrote yet. So let's talk about it. First of all, we need a clear narrative, right? This is the most important part about anything when it comes to altcoins. You need to figure out what narrative is booming right now, okay? So whether it's AI, DePIN, RWAs, perps, prediction markets, whatever it is, you need a clear narrative. Because if you now start investing in RWA coins, right? Well, then again, you're likely not going to get the next 100x runner because that's just not the narrative that's active right now. So you need to figure out what people are talking about. What's the next narrative? What is the one thing that people just can't seem to let go of? And you don't have to just look in, on crypto Twitter. You can essentially look out your window. What are people worried about now? Is it green energy? Is it oil? Whatever it is, that will more likely than not transfer into crypto. I mean, that's how any narrative starts, right? It starts in the real world and then later it converts into crypto, just like we saw with the RWA narrative. So for me, for example, right now, I am leaning towards AI and prediction markets, right? I still think that there's an immense amount of money to be made within those 2 industries in crypto specifically. And so for me, those are the primary narratives that I am looking at. And here's why it matters. Altcoins move when they're attached to a bigger market story. No story, no flows, right? And so exactly as I said, people need to, have an actual interest in whatever altcoin it is that you're investing in. Otherwise, you're investing in hype, a meme, or something else that's just going to end in an absolute disaster. Now, once you've found the narrative, right? Well, then you need to make sure that whatever altcoin it is that you're investing in and that project as a whole actually has real usage. The project needs actual traction, and not just in the form of a website, because that's what a lot of people would consider traction. Right? A lot of people will say, oh, this is a serious project because they have a website. But I mean, that is quite literally the bare minimum. So what we're looking for here is a clear roadmap of the entire future and some sort of community, right? That could be on Discord, Telegram, school, wherever it is. They need a community so that you can enter that community and read whatever it is that people are saying about that certain project. So again, that includes users, transactions, TVL, fees, volume, integrations, active product usage. And it matters because this filters out the coins that are only hype, right? Usage is the one thing you can't fake for long. And so if a project, and I'm speaking from experience here, is based upon hype instead of usage, well, then again, you might see some short-term opportunity, but long-term, it is just never going to last. But more importantly, right, one thing we need to make sure is not just usage, right, but it needs active product usage, and more importantly, the token or coin itself. So there needs to be some sort of scarcity around the token, like BNB, for example. In order to do anything with the BNB network, well, then you need to use their token. And so automatically, they create demand for their token, which is exactly what reflects in your investment portfolio. Because I see a terrible mistake that people make, right? They find a clear narrative, they find a project with an actual mission, and then they invest in that token without ever, paying attention to whether they were able to create demand around that token. Because no matter what product they bring, how great they might look, and what plans they have for the future, they need to create demand around their token. Otherwise, you're not going to make any money. So again, that's number 2. Let's jump right into number 3, which is clean tokenomics. Okay, this is, the one step people miss entirely because it's incredibly boring. So the supply structure can't be horrible. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it can't be horrible. So here are 5 things you have to check out. Clear total supply, clear unlock schedule, no massive upcoming unlocks, no insane insider allocation. That's a big one. You don't want to get rugged here. And lastly, it needs real token utility, as I quite literally just explained. So it matters because bad tokenomics can kill even a good project, right? Sellers print faster than buyers arrive, and that's just the simple truth. So the tokenomics is just incredibly important. It is essentially your safety net. It ensures you're not going to get rugged. It ensures that there's actual longevity behind this. It ensures that you're not buying at a terrible time. And more importantly, it also creates actual token utility. So again, you need the tokenomics. Then we need upcoming catalysts for the future, okay? Something on the horizon that can bring attention or adoption. Mainnet product launch, exchange listing, airdrop, some major upgrade, a partnership, an integration, staking, fee switch. In other words, it just needs some sort of catalyst, something people can look forward to and something that could drive actual traction to their project. Here is how I have succeeded tremendously in my altcoin investments, okay? I treat every single altcoin investment as my own personal business. So whenever I sit there and actively look for some new altcoin that I want to invest in, well, then I actively sit there and try and analyze their entire company as I would analyze my own. So for example, how are they marketing things, right? Are they trying to collaborate with larger projects to bring more traction? Are they actively reaching out to influencers, larger influencers? And how are, the public marketing campaigns actually looking? Going through all these influencers, finding out exactly what it is they are promoting and how that campaign is set up. And then I make an educated guess based on that. And if it is, in alignment with what I would do myself, well, then again, that might be a project worth investing in. So it's not just finding some fancy new altcoin and it's not just finding a project that has actual usage. It's all of these things combined, right? And if you're missing one, well, then again, like I said in the beginning, you might as well just forget it as a whole. So again, let's keep going. Run all four every single time. Clear narrative, real usage, clean tokenomics, and upcoming catalyst. 4 out of 4, which means it is a strong candidate. Nothing is definitive. It's not a certainty that this will run. But again, it is a strong candidate. 3 or fewer, you can keep watching, but I wouldn't buy immediately. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because it's important for you to understand what people did previously before all this AI nonsense took over, right? How difficult it actually was to find an altcoin that you were hopefully going to make an insane return on. So what you would do is you would go onto a site like CoinGecko, for example, right? And then you would filter by whatever criteria you have, right? You would sit here, you would scroll through all of it. Okay, maybe I like, Near. Okay, let's have a look at Near. I can see their tokenomics here, right? Then I have to check out their Twitter, right? How are their Twitter looking? Okay, they have 1.8 million followers, so this is probably, a legitimate project. I can also see they have a Telegram, a Discord. I have to join those. Then I have to, figure out what are people discussing. Are they actually, interested in this project as a whole? Is it like almost like a cult, like SPX 6900, for example? What is it actually looking like, right? This was the process that people legitimately had to go through all the time. I have created something that I was planning on only using for, personal use, but I've decided to share it with each and every one of you. I, of course, created an altcoin screener. Okay, and this essentially ensures that I don't have to sit there scrolling through 1,000 different web pages. I can do all of that natively from my own altcoin screener. So out here, right, we can customize whatever it is that we want. We have a market cap minimum, market cap maximum, right? You don't want to invest in something that has too large of a market cap if you're looking for these 100x runners. And so you can adjust this all yourself. You can even adjust the max 30-day gain, the tokenomics, the liquidity and usage, and you can even add custom criteria down here. So what it does is simple, right? It takes your entire criteria list, and then instead of you having to scroll through CoinGecko to find all the coins that fit that list, this does that for you, right? So it scrolls through the entire list of tokens within CoinGecko, and then it highlights all of those that actually fit your criteria. Okay, so let's just try it out. Let's say that, again, I believe AI and prediction markets will do quite well. So let's say we want a market cap of just 1 million, right? And we want a maximum market cap of, say, 23 million. We're just going to keep the other things the same. So the liquidity usage and the tokenomics, the standard that it gives you is generally okay. So let's try and run this screen and see exactly what it comes up with. So it literally took 3 seconds, right? And now we have a long list of altcoins that potentially passed our criteria. But you can see that 43 passed our initial gates, which is what we're seeing here on the left side. And so that is our overall filter that allows us to sort of double down on the ones that we actually want. Because you can see that within AI and prediction markets, there was a total of 317 coins or projects. But after just this, right, after just, the valuation, the tokenomics, and the liquidity and usage, only 43 actually passed that. And so we already disregarded nearly 300. And that is the purpose of the left sidebar. Okay, now what we have to do now is, for example, if I thought, okay, well, Sapien, that might be interesting. It has a small enough market cap. It has a decent float, AI narrative. I mean, let's have a look at it. The things in here is essentially what will make or break the altcoin that you're going to invest in. And the reason why you have to do this manually is because I don't believe AI is at a stage yet where it can do this accurately. And when your own money is on the line, well, then we want to ensure that what you're investing in is actually legit. So these things you have to do manually, okay? That is things like developer slash ecosystem active. Are the developers active? Are they constantly pushing out new things? Again, very easy. Check their website, their Twitter, their socials, and figure out if they're actively improving. Ensure that there are no big unlocks or extreme insider hold, right? And you have a small description down here where it says check tokenomics, no big unlock slash extreme insider hold. Again, you have a small description down here that will tell you what you have to do. So for example, here, check token unlocks for cliffs and VC allocation. And we have upcoming catalyst within the next 30 to 90 days. And again, it says here, check docs, acts, roadmap for launches, listings, and upgrades. So again, you have sort of a guideline down here that says exactly what you need to do. But in order to get the best possible results, we want to do this manually. But then we have this down here, right? Scan social. This is pretty smart. And it will essentially scan YouTube because YouTube, in my opinion, is the best platform for exactly this. And by looking at that and by scanning how many people are actively making videos on this project, you can get a decent understanding of the actual sentiment, right? So let's try and click scan social. And here we go, right? We had one here from Savvy Finance, and this might have been a coin he mentioned within that video, and it got 12K views. That's decent. But then besides that, it is non-English, right? And it's very, very low view count. So again, this might not have the greatest social sentiment around it. If it has a TradingView chart, you can also click this button here, and it will immediately take you to the actual TradingView chart so that you can see where we're sitting. I never recommend investing in any altcoin until you actually check the chart itself. And so this allows you to quickly get an overview of everything. And again, you have links for pretty much anything: CoinGecko, GitHub, Twitter, token unlocks, unlock search, DeFi Llama, TVL search, website. And so as I said, right, this is pretty much everything you need in one native place. You have an aggregated view count up here. So over the last 30 days, things that has mentioned Sapien has gotten a total view count of 13,000. That's not a lot. And again, you can optimize this for however you want. You can make it very, very strict, less strict, more manual, less manual, add your own criteria. But here's the interesting part. So a few weeks ago, I actually did a scan, and one of the tokens that popped up was Zcash. Now, if we have a look at Zcash, right, the tool that I just showed you called out Zcash when it was trading at 342 on the 24th of April. Just about a month later, it was up over 100%. And had I not seen that, I have to be honest, I didn't actually invest in this. But had I not used my own tool, well, then there's a chance that I, never would have seen this in time. But again, because of the sentiment that we're in right now, I did not invest in this myself. But again, it goes to show what this tool is actually capable of. And it's not some magic tool that will just make altcoins appear in front of you. It is a tool meant to save time and improve accuracy. And here's the thing, if you want access to this tool, well, then you can find that in the link down below alongside a bunch of different guides on how to do a bunch of different things and all of the other software that we've ever created. So again, ladies and gentlemen, as AI improves, right, as we progress within this narrative, well, then again, we better adapt or we're going to get left behind. The days of endless scrolling through CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, and a bunch of different social media is effectively over, right? We've basically automated that entire process, and I'm now giving it away to you. So again, if that's of any interest, check out the link down below. I appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and at least show up in our next video.